So the topic I'm going to cover today are some easy tricks we can do as lady to be a lighter follow. Okay, so let's get started. Ladies, number one easy suggestion is your left hand is on top of his right arm. So if this were my partner's arm, I do not recommend lifting up your wrist. It gives you a broken back line, and it's actually quite heavy in his arm. You're pushing down on his elbow. Instead, I recommend pressing down with your wrist, this part, up in his upper arm. He can carry a lot of weight that way, and this also gives me a preferable back line. I don't know if you can see that, okay? So regardless of what he's doing with his arm, I'm thinking about pressing down with this inside edge of my wrist, never down with the elbow. I don't want to lift the wrist up. I call this like broken sock puppet hand, okay? Number two, we often think of heavy just in the arms, but it's actually, once you master the arms, you can really feel it in your body. When he leads you somewhere, and you're rough and you stop early. So our cheat is we're gonna delay placing our feet, particularly when we dance backwards, okay? So a little trick to doing that is going on the top of the foot and then rolling. Top whenever I go backwards and rolling, rather than dancing defensively and going ball. Ball. It's going to make you heavy and look choppy, okay? Another thing we can do to free up space for him is to free our hip that we're going on to. So I don't want to have flat hips. If I allow the hip to turn out, if he's coming forward on his left leg, that would be through our right leg. I'm going to exaggerate. Do you see I'm freeing up the hip? Or I'm freeing up the hip, okay? Another suggestion that I found to be really helpful is when I go backwards, I don't want to land on the bottom or the toe. I think about the outside edge roll or the inside edge roll, depending on what angle we're doing. So I would do inside edge, for example, on a curved feather, inside edge instead of ball. Most figures, however, I would go on the outside edge. I'll show here so you can see that. This is the outside edge of my foot. The outside edge. This is the outside edge. So when in doubt, go ahead and take an outside edge. It's a little safer, okay? So when I'm going backwards, say in a three-step, I would go outside edge and then roll instead of toe roll. And I get a lot more control in your movement that way and be able to delay placing your foot. So if he changes his mind while he's leading, which he often does, I can swirl around on that front foot and follow lightly. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? Ladies, final suggestion for you, don't try to overshape. I pretend like I'm doing a high jump, a Fosbury flop. So I don't want to shape from the waist. I don't want to have a very hyperextended back or even my neck. I'm going to try and shape up over the top of his right arm. So I'm shaping left, and I'll show you sideways. I'll show you from a couple different angles, ladies. I'm just trying to go with the upper back, maintaining this frontal connection instead of just the head or the waist, okay? So I'm trying to shape forward, press gently as I can, forward to him, whether I'm going forwards or backwards, with this lowest rib area, depending on what figure I'm doing, and going up over the top. An exercise you can do at home to give yourself a little more flexibility in your upper back to make that easier is a yoga bridge. So you can go up to a wall, inch, 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 inch. Where can I show that? I have a good spot here. Okay. Let's have our cameraman move for a second, and I'll show on this wall. So go sideways this way. So this is the wall. So this would be a yoga bridge. Even do it at home on a wall. This will be pretty safe. So here, and then inch, and you'll get that flexibility with time. Don't do what I did right out of the chute. That flexibility would come with time. Even if you can just do this, that's still gonna improve your flexibility with time. So, those are some easy things we can implement as lady to be lighter, more desirable, more responsive partner for our leads. So, thanks for joining me today. See you next week.